Welcome to Indian Express. And today we have a set of very interesting guests with us, and I'm sure very familiar faces, who are going to talk to us about a new initiative that YouTube has started. It's called Create with Care. We have with us Satya, who is the director of YouTube partnerships in India. We have Gaurav, or should I say technical Guruji, and we have Prajakta, or should I say mostly Sane. I don't know how to call YouTubers, so I'm going to leave that to the audience. But let's start with Satya. So, Satya, can you give us an overview of what is Create with Care and what does YouTube intend to do with this program?
Yeah, no, and thank you so much, for having me a part of this video. And it's such a pleasure to be here with Prajakta and with Technical Guruji. So let me start with actually where this is all coming from, right? So fundamentally, if you actually think about it, YouTube is built on the premise of openness, right? Our mission is to enable everyone's voices, regardless of who they are, where they come from, what language they speak, what identities they prefer, or any religion or any gender, is to make it a place for them where they can put their voice and they can then be heard. Their voices, their ideas, and their opinions can be shared, right? So that's very, very fundamental to us. And the way we build the platform, the way we have our community guidelines, all of these actually, really, really set a great foundation to ensure that. And we've seen that success happen in India, right? We've seen some amazing creators from diverse fields and diverse content verticals really come in and make this platform their own and put their voice out there. And in that process, influence many other creators and users to actually be in sync with their ideas and form communities, right? So it's been happening all this while. What we really want to do is to take this to the next level. We've just launched this campaign called hashtag Create with Care. We've got about 25 to 30 of our top creators from across different languages, geographies, genders, identities to actually come together to take a pledge to actually make YouTube even more inclusive, to ensure that the entire creator ecosystem can come together and actually encourage more people with more such diverse and different voices. So it starts with a pledge, and then we are working with creators to actually adopt this and make this their own. So today, as we speak, we have Creator Camp going on with over 5,000 creators who are coming together. And we are actually encouraging all of them to also adopt this pledge.
So, Satya, if I can ask you, is this a very India-specific program that you have, or is this something that's being done globally? Do you think that you need to do this in a country like India because we are still a very nascent internet environment?
Yeah, so as I said, right, the way our platform has been built, the community guidelines with all the policies actually apply not just in India, but all over the world. So we are starting with a great foundation wherever you are. We have specifically come up with this program in India, and we really hope to learn from India. India for YouTube is the laboratory for the world. As you know, we launched Shorts first in India, and we have expanded it to all over the world. And we look forward to how we can actually take this program to many other places.
So, Prajakta, if I can come to you, how do you think you are going to bring Create with Care into what you make?
So the last time we had sort of an interaction about this, when we spoke about xenophobia and stuff like that, I remember having a conversation about how sometimes we just forget that it's really not that hard to be inclusive and to be nice on the internet. It's not like, I honestly think it's easier to be nicer on the internet than to be exclusive about things, is why I think just being a little bit mindful, I think listening to your audience, because your audience is always talking to you. They're always telling you what they like, what they don't like, what they appreciate, what they're offended with. And I think that is great insight into understanding how you should pave your way through content. So I think by listening to my audience, I think by understanding that it's 2021 and I'm glad we are on the internet and there are conversations being made that were not made 10 years ago. So just being aware about what's going on around you. And I know it sounds very, very overwhelming, but really, it's really, really not that tough to create with care. I just feel like I'm very happy that YouTube has a program like that actually lays each and every point down on the table, which tells you exactly, it's one of those things कि कोई भी दिन मन में बिल्कुल भी confusion नहीं होनी चाहिए, सब कुछ बहुत clearly बताया जा रहा है कि this is okay and this is not okay, and I think it was high time we did something like that.
So, Gaurav, as far as inclusivity goes, you do a lot of it by bringing your videos in Hindi, which is the more accessible language for millions and millions of Indians. How else do you think you will, start creating with care?
So, I mean, we all talking about create with care. We all talking about, what all is to be done. हम क्या कुछ करने वाले हैं. But, the basic thing on a human scale, it has to be a by default. I mean, it's pretty obvious कि हमको पता है कि मतलब ये तो करना ही था. मतलब, it is not really something कि okay, अब से मैं ऐसा करने वाला हूँ. कि just because YouTube has come up with this campaign that okay, from now onwards I'm going to do this. It's better for the new creators to at least understand, because internet is quite new for many people. They might not know about कि वो किस तरीके से, because see, we talk about internet and the first thing that comes in mind is open internet. It is open for everyone in whatever format and how all it is. So यहाँ पे even for me, मैंने आज तक किया है and आगे भी, it is just like if you are a nice human, on the core, this all create with care comes as a by default. Now, like for example, like making a video or something, you would not think about कि मैं ऐसा बनाऊं या ना बनाऊं, and तुमने आज तक कुछ गलती नहीं किया होगा for sure. So this is the kind of thing that of all the small tiny steps that you take, like they all combine towards this. So maybe different languages, we have different diversities in terms of gender, or people of different regions or multiple things. So it's just a nicer platform that we are trying to build for everyone in a better way. Like this is I believe what create with care will kind of end up doing.
So Satya, if I can come back to you, are there things that sort of concerned you that you thought that we need to maybe start talking more to creators, create role models also out there which maybe the new creators can look up to?
Yeah, absolutely right. I'm glad you used the word role models, right? And I really appreciate what both Prajakta and Gaurav said about, it's actually very easy, and actually it should be part of your, nature, right? It should come to you very naturally. What we also realize is that, our creators actually inspire a lot of other creators. They inspire a lot of users, right? You should only go to one of those meet and greets that Prajakta does to actually see the kind of fan love and see the kind of connection that she has with her users and other creators. And with that comes a unique opportunity and responsibility, right? So can we actually, from time to time, keep reevaluating where we are, right? Because the internet is growing at a crazy pace at this point of time, right? People who never were connected got connected like that during the pandemic, right? Because people were seeking connection, people were seeking inspiration. So can we keep reevaluating where we are today? Can we understand that it is easy? Can we understand that it should come to us naturally? But reevaluate and see what else we can do to create a better structure, to create some stimulus, to create a little bit of encouragement, right? And both Prajakta and Gaurav will know this very well, right? One of the fundamental aspects of YouTube is that you can actually collaborate with other creators.
Yeah.
And there is definitely a creator out there who actually has his or her or their own voice, but is seeking a chance to actually be seen or heard in a bigger forum. So we're also trying to encourage a lot of our creators, right, big and small, to collaborate with other creators and get them also a share of that visibility so that their voices can be heard. So many small things like that actually add up, and we have to constantly reevaluate, see how we can keep doing better, right? Because good things are never finished, right? There's always more to do. We were surprised that there's a language called Kok Borok, which is spoken in a part of Tripura. And there's about 1 million people who speak that language. But what can we do to actually grow that ecosystem even faster? Get them to create content that's even more interesting and can benefit the ecosystem, and all the while do it in a very, very responsible manner.
So, Prajakta, if I can ask you one thing, a lot of stand-up comedy, for instance, which a lot of us consume, I'm sure a lot of youngsters also consume, also comes with a lot of language which we really, don't appreciate. I don't know what's the right way to say it. But is that something that you think maybe we can gradually take out of the system, or do you think from a creative liberty perspective that needs to be there?
No, I think that's the beauty of content. It is so customizable. It really, really, really depends on the creator and the audience that the creator has. There are choices that creators have made that have worked very well for them, that have got the messaging through, that have made an impact. And then there are choices that didn't really go well. I feel like, honestly, right now, as much as we try to sort of put everything down on paper, in a country like ours, content is mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what's going to work. You don't know what is the way. There is no blueprint to tell you, oh, this is how you get to a success. You can be responsible. And I think that's where Create with Care comes in, where you have basic guidelines and you have a basic sort of idea about how you want to navigate through content. Because there is an audience for everything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there are choices, there are things that I necessarily would never, ever, ever consume or share, but they're getting consumed and they're getting shared. There are things that I absolutely love, and so many of my friends have no idea content like that exists online. So I think that's the beauty of it, that it's so customizable to what the audience genuinely likes and appreciates. But at the same time, I think as a creator, these guidelines should be your Bible.
Yeah, and I'll jump in there to just build on what Prajakta is saying, right? So it's about language, as you said, but it's actually more about context, right?
Yeah.
Because a word
Yeah.
used in a certain context, the meaning changes when it's applied in another context, right? And our community guidelines actually talk about that, and we understand that, and we are constantly, figuring out how language changes and it is evolving to make sure that context is actually much more important than just language, right? Just to build on what Prajakta was saying.
So Gaurav, when you looked at this sheet that I guess Prajakta was referring to, which actually lays down everything that you should do. Are there things that struck your mind that okay, abhi mujhe ye sab thoda sa dekhna chahiye, or is it like, acha, I'm tick tick tick, I'm doing everything?
See, I think just because I mean, I would consider myself as a role model, I mean,
You have been always.
yeah. So at least, see, the thing is, I have been doing all the takes. Prajakta has been doing all the takes, of all the friends that I have on YouTube. Because, see, the thing is, I mean, it's not really a big deal, I'm saying. It is a by default. It's just that now, because we want to kind of, expand this to upcoming creators, maybe to ourselves at times, as in, like, just to refer it again and again, because you might kind of forget something maybe 2 years on the line. So just kind of a reminder coming in that, okay, you have been doing so good so far, but even kind of, moving ahead, this is something that we need to, take care of all the times. So, I mean, it has been going good, but aage ke liye bhi, this is not something that we can just take for granted. I mean, just because we have the internet, just because we have, a YouTube account, or we can just upload a video, does not mean that we can upload anything and everything. I mean, आपको क्या इंटरनेट पे आप अपलोड कर रहे हैं, what kind of messaging you are kind of putting out, it really impacts. आपको हो सकता है लगता है कि it is not really a big deal, but it does. तो कितने लोगों तक आपकी बात का क्या क्या असर पड़ सकता है, या आपकी एक आपने कुछ बोल दिया, उससे किसका कितना इमोशनल लेवल पे या किसी और तरीके से, क्योंकि सी वी टॉक अबाउट अ वेरी डाइवर्स सोसाइटी. बिकॉज इंटरनेट इज अगेन ओपन. आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि मैंने ये वीडियो बनाया बट जस्ट इन 2 लोगों के लिए बनाया है. इट इज फॉर द इंटरनेट, इट इज लाइक वंस इट्स ऑनलाइन, इट्स फॉर एवरीवन. So that's the best part, that okay, we are kind of doing good, but at the same time we have to make sure that we continue doing good in this regard.
Also, I think honestly, why I'm very glad that I'm a part of Create with Care is I think this is one of the first programs which is more about the reaction than the action.
Yeah.
I mean, like Satya said, like Gaurav said, that keeping in mind that it's going to have impact and it's going to have a reaction, and how to navigate your way through that so that you do not instigate it, I think is a great insight for creators to have when they're creating content.
Are these videos going to come with the hashtag, or does it generally mean that everything that you guys will create will conform to this? Or are you going to also have some videos which are going to be these leading lights of this space?
I think it's a mix of everything, honestly. And I'll speak for myself here, but I remember when I started creating content over 6 years ago, I had a very, very a very clear conversation with my team where we all sat down and I was like, okay, here's content that I will never, ever want to explore. I do not want to do sexist content. I do not want to do below the waist humor. I do not want to do anything inappropriate. And I said, and I still want to do comedy. So can you help me navigate content through this? And I think I mean, it's phenomenal that I've had a team that stood by me through all of this. So I think, yes, hashtagged videos so we can create awareness. But I think, like Gaurav said, it's a more internalized workshop.
Yeah, and just to build on that, right? This is really, think of this as a great start. Think of this as things that we're doing in phases, but there's so much more to do, right, on a daily basis, because this can't be something that you do like you do it once in a while. This has to be done on a daily basis, right? We would have worked with a few creators to shine the light on people who are from minorities or different identities or speaking different languages. And we did a series of videos where creators then spoke to other creators and highlighted their voices. Then comes this hashtag Create with Care campaign that actually features a pledge by 25 to 30 of the top creators from different languages. We want to take this further, and we are actually speaking to our creator ecosystem on how we can do this. Prajakta will have ideas, Gaurav will have ideas, other creators will have ideas. So it's a great ecosystem that we have created, and we understand that we all have to contribute and give back at some point of time or the other. So it's an ongoing process.
So is gender sensibility also one of the things that you are underlining here?
Yeah, and gender, identity, backgrounds, all of those, can create biases or issues, at this point of time. So we have to really understand that in great detail, and we have to figure out then how to address that. That's what hashtag Create with Care actually does.
So one last question, Satya. So are you also working with the smaller creators? You have a set of stars who are out there, but you also are you creating workshops for the really new guys who are coming into the system also?
Yes, it's happening as we speak, right? I spoke about the fact that we're actually doing Creator Camp, which is like an annual event where we speak to about 5,000 creators who are in different stages of their journey on YouTube. We are sharing the pledge with them, and we are encouraging them to actually also take the pledge in their content, on their social platforms, and actually create even more awareness, right? So that is actually what is happening right now, and we'll continue building on this movement, as I said, right? Understanding more about what we can do, sometimes structuring things better, sometimes encouraging people to collaborate even more, sometimes encourage people to take on topics, which might be very relevant at that point of time, and create content around that, right? So all of those are on the table, and we'll continue to learn and continue to build.
I think I'll add something here. Normally, what we say is with great power comes great responsibilities. But here, even if it's zero power, still the responsibility has to be, great by default. I mean, doesn't matter if it's your first video or it's your 1,000th video or, how many subscribers you have, because you are on this platform, which kind of, goes by certain guidelines. And now that we have this program, I think the responsibilities should be kind of, as a by default for everyone.
Yeah, I think accountable, it's high time we're accountable as creators. For the longest time, we sort of like wrote off offensive content as, but that is what the audience wants to watch, and that is what the audience is watching, and that is what they're sharing. But I think it's high time we hold creators accountable too.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. All the best for the hashtag Create with Care program. Thank you.
Thank you
and
so
thank
much.
you, Nandu, for really helping us take this message out there. Thanks so much, Nandu.
Thank you.
Thanks, Prajakta. Thanks, Gaurav. See you.
Bye. Thank